Jesus, Rash, get it together.
Yeah, right.
It's game day. Come on.
Welcome to Kentucky Roll Call with Walker and Roush.
Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday to you. Hump Day edition of Kentucky Roll Call here on Big X Sports Radio. 96.1 FM, 1450 AM, and streaming on the YouTuber. That's right. We're streaming again. I think it's working. I think everything should be pretty good for it. Shout out to Roman for getting all that set up at Big X Sports Radio so Kentucky Roll Call can use it. But I believe we are streaming, so you can watch us on YouTube. I'll tweet out that link once we get it up and rolling. Nick Roush, how are you?
Ooh, is it rolling and calling?
We will be doing a little rolling and calling, yeah.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I'm seeing it right now. I got my good derby hat on because big start of big race week. You got Churchill running today, Belmont at Saratoga. The first race at Saratoga is a steeplechase. If you want to see something wild, you're not used to seeing.
See what I'm wearing? The cameras do.
The green. What's in the green shirt?
No, just the hat. Look at the. Oh, it's delayed. I forgot.
Right. Yeah.
My American Pharaoh cap.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That is wow, 10 years old now. Seen some stuff.
Crazy to think about. I remember where I was for each one of those Triple Crown races. That was incredible. The best horse I've ever seen.
I remember how disappointed I was at how unenthusiastic my wife, then girlfriend at the time, and one of my friends was. Like, I was like almost in tears, just like, oh my God, he did it. And they're just sitting on the couch, you know. That was back in the going out phase too, TJ.
They weren't as hyped as you were.
Oh yeah, I was just incredibly hyped. And you know what? I don't even know, because I wasn't doing a lot of exotic betting back then, and his odds were so low that I don't even think I bet Pharaoh in the Belmont or the Preakness. Probably did in the Derby. But I still was just like dumbfounded and stupefied and could not. It was almost like I was watching the Kentucky game with a bunch of Louisville fans. They just hit a buzzer beater, but nobody cared. It's like, come on. We've never seen a Triple Crown win in a lifetime. Everybody get excited. So we'll not have a Triple Crown this week, but a lot of big-name horses running big-time races at Saratoga, the Belmont at Saratoga. But we're not here to talk about all of that today. We got other stuff. I mean, we can, but
we'll save the horse racing talk mostly for Friday, I'm sure.
Because I've only peeked at the PPs. I've not gotten a full dive into the PPs yet. Really need to get my eyeballs all over those PPs before I can start giving out picks.
A lot of PP talk.
Yep, the past performances.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Past performances.
Well, I'm excited for the horse racing. I'm excited for the NBA Finals to start tomorrow after their month hiatus. And Roush, are you excited for the Stanley Cup to start tonight?
Yeah.
Did you know it started tonight?
I learned this morning at about 8:30. So,
what a way to wake up.
Right. And it also was one of those things where I was did a little exercise, was listening to a sports podcast. The Stanley Cup is starting tonight. And I'm just like, oh, okay. Well, I do like that it's a rematch from last year, so that's a fun storyline for the casual fan. This is where we test how well the storylines and the players and everything get the casuals hooked in. And you know what? I think I'm going to be waving that maple leaf and cheering for Connor McDavid to get over the hump and the Oilers to get a little revenge against the Florida Panthers after falling in 7 last year.
How long have you hated America?
I haven't. I just, you
always hated it. Is it a new development? Is it a Trump sort of thing?
No, it'll be cool to see. I'll just be happy for our Canadian brothers. They've been waiting for 32 years, to see Lord Stanley's Cup on their soil. It's their number one sport. I'll be happy for them if the Edmonton Oilers can get it done. It's not my best take, but I can't get off it now, TJ. Can't get off it now.
I respect the acknowledgement.
They made it all the way to Stanley Cup Finals. I got to just keep riding this thing home.
Do you know which province Edmonton is in?
I believe it's Saskatchewan.
Close.
It's right, or that it's
next to it.
Yeah. Oh gosh, and it's not in the same province as Winnipeg, is it?
It is not. Calgary, though.
Calgary's the province?
Calgary is in the same province. No, it's not. That's not the province. It's in the same province.
Manitoba.
Manitoba's where Winnipeg is. You went the wrong way.
No, wrong way.
I need you to go left. You went right.
It's not British Columbia.
Oh, now you're sandwiched this one in between British Columbia and Saskatchewan.
So I've gotten all of the western provinces except the one.
It's not the Northwestern Territories either.
Except the one that.
None of it. You'll get none of it.
Is it Edmondson?
It's Alberta.
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 The Alberta Stampede is like their big rodeo they have up there. That's a wild time.
Edmonton is. I didn't realize how far north it was.
Oh.
That is. I mean, it's got to be the most northern city in professional sports in America, right? Like it is. That's really fun.
Well, that's why they're good at hockey up there.
I mean, I would imagine that this has got to be the biggest thing in if they win the Stanley Cup ever.
Well,
I mean, it is in the middle of nowhere, folks. I can't stress this enough. How far north? Like it looks like. I wonder how long it would take to get to Spokane to Edmonton.
It amuses me just when they do the. We see it with Kirk Herbstreit where they show his travel plans.
It's 10 hours further north than Spokane.
How? I mean, even the flight just to get to South Florida has to be, what, 5 hours?
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, just pure air travel alone for these two teams in the series has to be a lot. It does amuse me that South Florida has become the home of professional ice hockey. An 8-hour flight?
8 hours?
That's crazy.
That is crazy.
I mean,
I almost feel like that can't be right.
That's my.
Okay, that one had a connecting flight. Okay, all right.
Oh, okay.
All right, 5 hours.
Okay. It makes a little bit more sense.
2,500 miles. That's actually to Orlando, so we'll just call it a good old 6.
Right, because you got to get to, this is like Broward County, I think is where the Panthers stadium is.
All right, I'm seeing something else that says 7 hours and 40 minutes. So whatever, however long it takes, it's a long, long flight.
I mean, it basically is my drives around the SEC. We were trying to figure out, budgeting all of the travels for this year. To Corey Price trivia that we'll have Thursday, I believe the trip to Auburn and South Carolina is the exact same mileage from Louisville, which I thought was kind of fascinating in an unusual way.
Yeah, when you're driving to the SEC cities, though, I imagine you're not going 550 miles per hour?
No, probably not. Edmonton, though, definitely a bigger airport than Auburn, Alabama, though.
Now, yeah, I would guess so.
Oh, what bigger airport than Columbia, South Carolina, though?
Yes.
Okay. I would imagine.
I don't know. I would think like if you're Edmonton, you're like
the hub of Manitoba.
Everybody's coming to you. I don't know though. How big is Edmonton? Should we get some Edmonton fun facts from Grok?
Oh, we need Edmonton fun facts.
And then let me ask you this, just in the meantime.
Correct.
There was a viral hockey sensation last year.
Yep,
a woman.
We remember her very well.
She was an Edmonton fan, right?
Yes, big Oilers fan.
Big Oilers fan.
Yes.
Very, very big Oilers fan. Okay, is she going to be in attendance? Does she get to drop the first puck or drop the first top or something?
So I think her moment came and went. I don't think it's still around. It's kind of like the song that the Blues sang a few years ago. I think it's like a 1-year deal.
Like she did it that one time and that's it.
Yeah, like she'll probably be around.
We'll see what happens
like,
when they're down in the series.
I don't know if you remember when the Blues, they did Goria. They played Laura Branigan's Goria after every win in the playoffs. Goria, Goria, Goria. But they let it be their, that was for the Stanley Cup. They won the cup. That was it. I think she's got to keep them away because it didn't work, right? Like, it was sort of similar to shout out David Eckstein and the Rally Monkey at the Angels back in the early aughts. You can ride that wave for a while, but if you do that again, then we're in danger of another Jinxie Cat situation.
Well, you just let me know if she dumps him out, okay?
All right. we will keep our listeners informed.
All right. Edmonton is large and in charge.
Oh.
It's including the surrounding metro, they're at about 1.6 mil.
Okay.
Grok says comparable American cities: Austin, Texas; Denver, Colorado; Portland, Oregon; Columbus, Ohio; Phoenix, Arizona. Except the difference is Edmonton, I guess, is much more concentrated downtown, where these cities that I listed, they will spread out among their areas. So it is no mom-and-pop little town. It's a big old city. It is very, very far north. I imagine their winters get pretty brutal. A fun fact would be it's got North America's largest urban parkland. The North Saskatchewan River Valley is the continent's largest stretch of urban parkland.
Interesting.
22 times larger than Central Park. Which really, that's not that impressive, really. Edmonton is one of Canadians' sunniest cities, boasting 2,345 hours of sunshine annually across 325 days with up to 17 hours of daylight on the summer solstice. Hey, how about that?
Hey, how about it?
You'd think of Canada, dark, gloomy, sad, depressed, maple leaves, syrup, but not in Edmonton. Very sunny there.
I did learn that this is only the third time they've been to the Stanley Cup Final since the Gretzky era. Actually, I should say 4, because they went the year after Gretzky left. But really had...
Been since 1993, since the Canadian team won the Stanley Cup.
They won 5 cups in the 80s when Gretzky was there. He absolutely dominated. And then they won 2 after he left. But that was their heyday. They're trying to party like it's the 80s, or Reaganomics, back.
The way that I was told was that Edmonton is the much younger and faster team. And they've got revenge on their mind.
In Florida, they'll beat the hell out of you.
But
cross-check your ass all up and down the glass.
I think you may be a happy Canadian, Roush, because...
They're only a slight favorite in the series, though. I think it's plus 105.
Yeah, but everybody that knows anything about it is saying they're going to win. I hope they don't. I love that Canadian, the one sport they actually care about. They haven't won since 1993. The people of Edmonton seem great, very friendly, generous even, but it seems like a cool town based on the few fun facts and population facts that we sent along. But no, go USA. USA.
USA. Canada. Canada. Oh.
We'd like to hear from you on the text line, 502-414-1450. If you've got anything to say on today's show. I've got a lot to get to, Roush, but admittedly, none of it's all that important. I'm a little frazzled for my job today, which is real estate appraising.
Did you get attacked by a cat?
No, but walked in on a woman pooping.
Like, actually, you opened
like,
the door.
I didn't like see anything. I didn't like see anything I was supposed to see. But her husband lets me into the house. Nice gentleman. Just you think you'd say, like, hey, wife's in the toilet. Wife's going to the bathroom. And a caveat to it was the door was open. Like, it was cracked, but it was more than 50% open. So, like, I go to open it, and it's just, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know anybody was in there. Shut that door.
Man, that is,
and that's happened, like, it's happened before. Not frequently, but it's happened before, or I've gone into a room where somebody didn't know I was in there, or I was in the house, and I've kind of, like, spooked somebody or startled somebody. It has happened before that not everybody at the home was aware that there was a visitor. The toilet has only happened a couple times, but here was something that was a little different about it. It was like I finished everything I needed to do, and she was still rocking and rolling. So, just like hovering outside the bathroom door for a little bit. Again, doing the old Clark Griswold, little hop, little pounce. And then I walk back to just kind of walk through the house, like to the exit. The husband's there. I'm like, yeah, I'm pretty much finished. I just need one quick picture inside that bathroom, and then I'm done. Which is just tough luck for me. Not only am now waiting on this woman that I already have an awkward situation with. But not only am I waiting for her to finish, I'm going to have to enter the stink zone. Now, granted, it is just for a quick picture. It doesn't take long. But sure enough, there was actually issues in this bathroom.
Oh, no.
Or potential. So it was just a disaster. I had to like take some notes. I had to take extra pictures. I was a little frazzled after that.
What would be an issue in a bathroom?
She stunk it up too.
That's
fine. It's her house. She can do whatever she wants in it. Well, I won't say specifically what this issue was.
What kind of issue? Like toilet, like water damage?
Yeah, you could have broken cabinet potentially on the sink. You could have a sink that's just not properly working. You could have paint chipping or maybe some potential mold in the shower, which isn't great. So just some of those things are things to look out for. You could accidentally walk in on somebody taking a big dump.
The part that of this that is it unusual to poop with the door open?
That's a good question. I don't, and I could. I've got my own special bathroom at the house. It is isolated and secluded. I get some freedom there. I could leave it open if I wanted to, but no. You shut it. Why wouldn't you shut it? What's the benefit of leaving it open?
I may have done it prior to children, but especially with children, like this is my one time I don't need you just bugging me. Please, like the door is shut for a reason. Stay the hell out. Give me 5 minutes to myself. Even secondly, it's more of a courtesy. If I'm going to blow up the bathroom, I don't want the whole upstairs smelling like it, you know?
Yeah.
I just feel like I know that Dale Doback said that you're a man, you poop with the door open. You should not. I'm not one either to be very picky in particular about cleanliness, hygiene. In fact, I would say that you're
a big stinky boy.
I am. But this is where I draw the line.
Dude, I'm right there with you.
Shut the door.
I'm right there with you. Poop etiquette is something that is so lost on people. It is shocking to me. And I really just think there's a lot of people that just don't know, Roush. I don't think they've ever been told. I've worked with people with terrible poop etiquette and had road trips with people with bad bathroom etiquette, and it is terrible. And so appraisers are independent contractors. We work for ourselves, but a lot of times we'll work in an office space together, share resources, printers, paper, ink, that sort of stuff. So I've got an office, but the office that I work in, it is owned by somebody. So there's a boss at the office. Mm-hmm. And Roush, I had to go to my boss and talk to him about his bathroom etiquette. Talk about an awkward conversation. Man. But first off, he's got a ginormous house, because he always tells us. And he's got like 6 bathrooms. But he always waits until like 8:30 in the morning to come to the office bathroom, which we only have one. We only have one toilet in an office of about 5 or 6 people. And he waits till, and granted, he's usually the first one in, but he'll just blow it up. He'll blow it up. He'll let it marinate. Let me just give you a little, this is kind of gross poop talk, all right? And we thought we were better than that as a radio show, but apparently we're not.
No,
okay?
Definitely not.
So if you're like having your lunch, great lunchtime radio talk. If you go to the bathroom, you're not being charged per flush unless in a very extreme circumstances. So after you're done unloading, per se, you flush that bad boy instantly. And then you can kind of do your wiping, or in Roush's case, your bideting. And you can take care of that, but don't let it marinate. Who is that serving?
It's my child that's 5 years old and just sits there for too long.
It's disgusting, but a lot of people do it. And then this goes with anything in life. And I know a texter recently got on to me about like a decade-old walking dog stance that I used to have. We don't have to rehash that by any stretch.
Right. Very.
But like, leave places better than you find them. So when you're closing the toilet seat, if you do close it, and you see more skid marks than the Daytona 500, flush that bad boy again. People don't want to see that. People don't want to be like, all right, time to go to the bathroom. Oh, there's poop everywhere. Now, who left their mark? Let me see if that one's Kev's or if that one's Cam's.
That's where I differ. I appreciate the challenge of removing the skid marks myself.
Kind of somebody else's?
Yeah, it don't matter.
Dude, disgusting.
Yeah, target practice.
No. So leave places better than you find them. That includes the toilet bowl. And then the biggest one, though, is just do not let that stuff marinate. And then the big question is, yes, you always shut the door when you're actually doing the business, But after you're done, do you leave it open or do you leave it shut? And I can be persuaded on this take. I can see both angles of it. On the one hand, you want to leave it shut because you don't want that smell basically consuming the office or consuming the house.
But and then you pop the little vent thing on.
But on the flip side, you don't want to leave it shut so somebody's just walking into a hot box of poo.
I think it's you leave the door slightly cracked with the vent on. The little.
I think that's probably the problem.
And a lot of times,
I don't think you keep it permanently shut.
I don't think those vents really work all that well, the fans, whatever you want to call it. But
no, they don't. If you told me they didn't work at all, I'd believe you.
Yeah.
If somebody was like, they're just fake.
I think
fake noises.
Every single house that I've had inspected, I don't know if it's inspection or appraisal, but the vent never goes all the way outside. It's like, yeah, your bathroom vent is actually going into your attic.
That would be the home inspection. Appraisal, we always confuse people with this, but appraisers do appraisal inspections, but those are nowhere near as thorough as an actual home inspection. We're just like making sure there's not a ginormous hole in the ceiling or somebody pooping in the bathroom.
But I think those vents never actually go outside. They just go to a place where they shouldn't. So you know, but as long as you're dealing with stink and not, I'm creating a steam room in my bathroom, you should be fine.
As you would imagine, text line's blown up with bathroom talk.
Love it.
Wasn't the only thing that got blown up today. That lady's bathroom. Also, this text line 502-414-1450. Brand new listener, TJ. What an incredible first topic to listen to. My wife and I both poop with the door wide open for all to see.
Interesting. And now
I love that a brand new listener is just like, all right, I've been wanting to check out Kentucky Roll Call.
Let's get some poop talk.
I got that guy from Margaritaville, Steve. I got him listening to the show. He's a new KRC listener. I like that he's probably like day 3 listening. They opened up their show with poop etiquette. Yeah. Welcome on in, everybody.
Hey, you know what? You're comfortable with one another, that's a good sign for a healthy relationship.
We will get this train back on the track. There's actually sports news going on today, sports things that I want to discuss.
If you're going to get us talking hockey, we've got to include some poop talk to really enliven things.
A lot of people would say this was the crappiest first segment in the history of Kentucky Roll Call. A lot of people may say that, but we're going to church it all up, make it a little better with some John Prine, and we'll come back with some sports talk on Kentucky Roll Call.
Father, forgive us for what we must do. You forgive us, and we'll forgive you. We'll forgive each other till we both turn blue. And we'll whistle and go fishing in heaven. Fish and a whistle, whistle and fish. Eat everything that we put on the dish. When we get through, we'll make a big wish that we never have to do this again. From our very first job, I said,
John Burke, owner and president of United Mechanical, is a proud supporter of the Mike Rutherford Show and Louisville Cardinal Sports. Listen to the Mike Rutherford Show Monday through Friday from 3 to 6 on Big X Sports Radio, WXVW's 96.1 and 1450 for the latest news on Louisville sports. United Mechanical is your trusted partner for commercial and industrial HVAC, electrical, plumbing, and refrigeration. Get on board with the home team today. Get on board with United Mechanical. Call 502-339-1133. Let's go Cards.
Calling all young golfers. The PGA Junior League at Old Capitol Golf Club is the perfect way to learn the game, make new friends, and compete in a fun, team-based environment. Open to boys and girls of all skill levels, our PGA Junior League is coached by PGA professionals, helping kids build confidence on and off the course. Join the team and experience golf like never before. Sign up today at Old Capitol Golf Club and let's tee it up. Visit oldcapitalgolf.com to register now.
Hey, I love salsaritas. Why? Flame grilled meats, house-made chips, fresh-made salsas for fast takeout, office catering, or your summer celebration. Try salsaritas. Visit them at St. Matthews or in Middletown, or order online for special offers.
We know to contact Indiana 811 at least 2 working days before every dig. Contact Indiana 811 and white line before every project. Learn more at 811.safedigindiana.com. Sponsored by the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission and aired by this station.
Honey Baked Ham in New Albany is the perfect spot for a healthy alternative to fast food. They provide a variety of freshly made sandwiches, as well as salads and delicious soups. And you can dine in or take it to go. They also have many dinner options such as ham, turkey, frozen sides, and desserts, which provide a complete meal. Catering is also available for small groups or large gatherings. Call Honey Baked Ham today, 812-941-9426, or visit them, 3602 Northgate Court, Suite 23 in New Albany.
Hey, this is General Manager Troy Miles here at the Big X. If you're in the roofing business, plumbing, window company, luxury cars and trucks, hormone replacement, if you're into recruiting or wealth management, I have something to talk to you about. The audience at WXVW is men with money, the guys who make decisions and spend big. And we've got an opening for category exclusive advertising. That means when you partner with us, you're the only game in town. At the Big X, we specialize in taking little guys and turn them into the big guys. No fluff, no waste, just smart advertising that works. We've done it before, and we're ready to do it with you. But spots are limited. Call me today at 502-259-8085. That's 502-259-8085.
The plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, and HVAC technicians of Local 502's commitment to excellence can be seen in our community every day. The KFC Yum Center, Ford Motor Company, and the Omni Hotel are just a few examples of their professional craftsmanship. Local 502 has been part of our community for over a century and invests over $1 million annually training skilled local workers. Members of Local 502 are your friends, neighbors, and children's coaches. For more information, go to lu502.com. Local 502, built on excellence, building a better tomorrow.
Every bank claims to have great customer service. But at Republic Bank, you don't have to take our word for it. According to a recent customer satisfaction study by the Qualtrics XM Institute, Republic Bank customers are nearly 3 times more likely to recommend us to friends and family compared to the industry average. That's right, nearly 3 times. So, what are you waiting for? Choose a bank you can brag about. Republic Bank. It's just easier here. Member FDIC.
Then I got fired for being scared of bees. They only give me 50 cents an hour. Father, forgive us for what we must do. You forgive us, we'll forgive you. We'll forgive each other till we both turn blue. And we'll whistle and go fishing in the heaven.
Welcome back. Kentucky Roll Call here on Big X Sports Radio. It is lunchtime in the Bluegrass. Salsaritas has 3 locations in the area. Middletown has a drive-through. St. Matthews covered patio for a hot day like today. Shepherdsville out in Bullitt County right off I-65. All 3 delicious, great. You can get what you want, order knowing that it's fresh, made in front of you, and the app. Download the app. You'll save time, you'll save money, you'll get free goodies, you'll get discounts, all sorts of great stuff, and you can do the catering all at the touch of your fingertips from the Salsaritas app. Download that today. Check out their wildly addictive chips and thank me later. Nick Roush and TJ Walker on Kentucky Roll Call. Get your text into the show, 502-414-1450. Roush, I could go any which direction. You name the sport, and I could have a talking point or a topic for you.
Kentucky men's basketball.
All right. Kentucky men's basketball. I'm going to talk UK U of L with Roman Kelly after the show today. I'm going to hang out with him with Running with Roman for about 10 or 15 minutes. So if you want a little extra sports talker, I'll be talking Cats with Roman. I'm excited about that. All right, this doesn't – okay, well, where do you think Kentucky is in the consensus top 10 for preseason early rankings? By the way, shout out to you for making a great post of the Evan Maikawa interview from yesterday, which if you didn't hear, go back and listen to the podcast. At minimum, go read the article because that all the good nuggets are in the article. Mm-hmm. But do both though while you're at it. But shout out to you for making that an article. I think UK fans loved reading that if you're wanting to get excited for next year's season, which how would you not be?
Right.
But based
great
on
JQ, Jalen Lowe, a lot of good stuff.
Oh, yeah. It was awesome.
I saw the graphic because he also retweeted it.
In 6 preseason top 25. Field of 68, ESPN, CBS, Sports Illustrated, The Athletic, College Hoops Today.
I even saw a larger one that had like 20 of them, and everyone used the same 17 teams or something like that.
Oh, yeah?
Like
That's interesting.
It was like everyone used there weren't any outliers, essentially. Everyone kind of agrees that it's going to be 17 of the 25 were commonalities, I should say. But I would think Kentucky would be like 7.
On the consensus, they are 10.
Huh, okay.
Where do you think the highest they're ranked between Field of 68, ESPN, CBS, Sports Illustrated, The Athletic, College Hoops?
Man, I wouldn't think that anybody would put them lower than 10. So if that's the consensus, that's shocking. I would think the highest somebody would put him would be at 3.
Yeah, so I would think that too, but 7. 7 is the highest. Yeah.
What drugs are they on?
I agree. Crazy to me. I don't get it.
I don't
get it.
Only Josh Hubbard is a higher returning scorer than Otega Owe. You improved. You got a top.
You're much better defensively. You're much more athletic.
The worst portal class I've seen Kentucky ranked is 5th. And then
who has them 5th in the portal class?
24/7. Everybody else had it too.
Silly.
Yeah. And then in high school, they were what, 2nd in high school? Like everything
or 3rd, but
yeah, you add all of them together.
So they returned as much as most teams.
Players,
you know, Otega Owe, like that's his. Hey, where are you returning? There's not too many teams that can top the Otega Owe. All right, so what'd you bring in? Well, we brought in about as good as anybody else did. All right, what are you bringing in from high school though? We're bringing in about as good as anybody from it's the best when you take it from the returning, from the transfer, from the high school, and you put it all together. And I'm in tape season, Roush, just like going back, watching all these guys' highlights tapes and old games and stuff like that. I can't stress enough how dominant I think this Kentucky basketball team is going to be. And that does involve a healthy Jaden Quayton. So in November, in December, is it going to look a little different? I think potentially it could. But I think these people are we need to get some of them on the show. We need to try to get some of them on the show to try to talk us how you could make a case that there are 9 teams better than Kentucky. It just doesn't. It's not realistic. Kentucky has it all, and the only thing that I think is a slight concern, and that's a big thing, is you probably will have some games where the shooting's not going to be great.
Mm-hmm.
But I think teams are going to try to pack it in so much against UK. You're going to have open shots, and this is a Mark Pope offense. It's Mark Pope who loves shooting threes. I have a hard time believing this team's going to fail because at the end of the day, they just weren't it wasn't a good enough shooting team. But folks, like Jaden Quayton's, according to Evan Maikawa, may be the best defensive player in college basketball, assuming he's healthy. That is great. That's huge. That automatically is going to make a team pretty darn competitive. I mean, look at the tail end of the top 25. Like North Carolina, who everybody is pretty much making fun of, is right there at number 25 in some of these. NC State, who Will Wade just had to put a team together, and while he did a solid job, they're right there at the tail end of the top 25. Ohio State, who had a terrible year last year, they're right there near the top 25. They added some foreigners. They're all the rage right now. Now that you can go get professional foreign Europeans. Everybody's doing it as like a safety net sort of option. But I was watching Denzel Aberdeen tape. That dude is so good. And a team last year, I think this is going to be interesting for Otega Owe and Mark Pope and the whole equation, sure. But Otega Owe last year was really UK's only go-get-a-bucket kind of dude. Maybe Lamont Butler when he was healthy, but certainly not when he was not.
Yeah,
most of the season.
Jack's had some games where he could do that.
He could step back and knock down a shot.
Yeah, or at least drive to create further.
Floater was nice.
Deal.
Yeah. When he was healthy, sure. You could, if you want to throw Jackson into the equation there, that's fine. But this year's team is going to have, it's going to be different. Lowe is somebody that can make something out of nothing. Aberdeen is somebody that can make something out of nothing. Obviously, we know Otega Owe is. And then that's on the offensive side, but I mentioned how great of a defensive player Jaden Quayton is. Mo D is a great shot blocker for his position. Let's not sleep either on Brandon Garrison as well, just as an overall player. I know he kind of had some struggles, but he's going to be in the mix as well. It's just a loaded team any way you break it down, Roush. And to not be in somebody's top 5, I think is ridiculous. Am I going to argue that much when they're at number 7? No, but for college hoops today, it's CBS to have UK 12 behind UCLA, behind Michigan, behind UConn. I'm just not buying it. So I'm pumped for the season. I think I'll be proven right as time goes on. Again, let's see what happens with Quayton and what that means. Which, by the way, when I was watching some Brandon Garrison highlights, Roush, interesting. Like, he would have really good stretches.
Yeah.
It's all,
it's in between his ears. How locked in is he? How steady is he?
It was crazy in his highlight tape how frequently you'd see a play. Let's say it's in the Duke game. He had a huge 3 in that Duke game. And then it'd be 1 minute later, 2 minutes later, it would be another play. And then it may be 30 seconds later on the tape or in the game time that he has another highlight. And then it may not be 2 more games until you see another Brandon Garrison highlight. And then in that stretch, it may be in a little 4 or 3 minute stretch where he has multiple highlights that make his season highlight package. So if Jaden Quaidance is out, I had this thought. I want Brandon Garrison. Like Malachi Moreno, you could be better than Brandon Garrison. NBA teams may like you better than Brandon Garrison and maybe some other front court players on this team. You have a ton of potential. But if Jaden's going to be out, let's just say November, I want Brandon Garrison getting like 90 of those minutes, 90% of those minutes. And normally you would say the opposite. Hey, beginning of the year, let the freshman work in. Let him figure it out. Let him go through some lumps. And normally I'm always that way. But I think we need to know exactly what we're getting out of Brandon earlier in the year. One, to know how quickly you need to rush Jaden back. You want him back as soon as he can play and he's healthy and whatnot. But 2, to know, like, all right, is Brandon going to be a reliable 5 for us this season or not? If he gets the minutes, because you can make a case last year, he'd come in, he'd have some really good stretches, he'd go to the bench, and he just could never really get it back between Amari Williams getting minutes and him not getting the opportunities, and he'd maybe get in his own head or whatever the reason would be. I want that excuse off the table. I'd like it to be the Brandon Garrison show at the 5, basically all of November, assuming Jaden's out, just to see, Roush, are we going to be able to trust this dude in March? Are we seeing the signs of development? Has he taken steps forward? And by the way, when we're talking about this team having some shooting concerns, Brandon Garrison's going to get a lot of open threes, whether you like it or not, buddy. And I know there's a lot of you listening that don't like it one bit, but he's going to get a lot of open shots. And if he can knock him down, that's going to be huge for BG's minutes. So if Jaden's going to take his time, and I think he'll probably not be ready for the beginning of the season. I don't think it's going to be like 2026, February, or anything like that. I think probably sometime in November or beginning of December is when we see Jaden back playing for UK. Until then, though, let's see if Brandon's got the chops or if he doesn't have the chops. Because if he doesn't, all right, then you start developing Malachi and see what he can get. And maybe you start doing some different lineups, or you know at that point, like, hey, Jaden, you're our dude. But if you get Brandon where he's going out there, kind of just doing nothing for 6 minutes. Then he has a nice little 1 or 2 minute pop where he's doing a couple of good things, but then it's another 4 minutes where he's not really doing much. All right, then that's not going to be good. But let's not forget, expectations were pretty high for Brandon. He was also a McDonald's All-American. And he hasn't really ever had the feature, whether it was at Oklahoma State or Kentucky last year. Well, it won't be really the case this year, but at the beginning of the year, he could have a chance to really submit himself as a player that has to be on the floor.
If you go back to Nick Richards, Brandon Garrison has shown more than Nick Richards did in his first 2 years before blowing up in his third.
Yeah, I think that's fair, and I think Nick Richards got a lot more opportunity than Brandon Garrison did as well.
Yeah, so a part of this, I think a lot of it is just between the ears, making sure that he is dialed in at all times, because let's face it, Pope is not going to. He's not playing any of those guys more than 20 minutes a game. He's just not going to. That's not how he operates. Maybe Quaidance can be an exception, but it's still only going to get up to 25 minutes. So there's going to be opportunities, whether it be foul trouble, injury, whatever it may be. It's just maximizing them. And you know, a lot of coaches like to say that it's 4-minute games. Go win the 4-minute game. That's especially going to be the case for BG. Go win this 2.5 minutes that you're on the court, or this 5 minutes that you're on the court. Playing well in those short spurts.
But he had some big plays and big games. Yeah, he can do it. Just can he do it consistently is going to be the big question. So that's what I had on some college basketball stuff.
I got a big question for you.
Yeah.
What do you think Kevin Costner and Mark Pope were talking about?
Yeah, I didn't even know who that was.
Kevin Costner?
I mean, I know who he is once I know the name, but when
you didn't recognize his face?
I did not recognize his face. No. What would they be talking about?
I don't even know where they would be running into one another. But this leads me to a little game that we're going to play today. A little Kentucky roll call, Price is Right, with me, your host, Nick Roush, and the contestant, the sports talker, TJ Walker.
When are we playing?
Right now.
Oh, well, let me get some music going.
You can get some music going, but to explain the game, I essentially stumbled upon Fanatics Fest is coming up later this month in New York City. 3-day weekend festival where basically if you are one of these collectible people, if you're into sports collectibles, that's where you go. You get all of your autographs, and you can get your pictures taken with them. You can buy cards. You can get your cards rated. It's for people who love this sort of stuff. And I was scrolling through. They have a list of all of the costs for autographs of athletes, celebrities, etc. And so I wanted to get you to guess what some of these prices, what some of these athletes and celebrities are charging for autographs at Fanatics Fest later this month.
I do think about 20 years ago, I probably would have been better at this game when I was in the card memorabilia game.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, though, I'm excited to give it a chance.
And the reason why I asked you about Mark Pope and Kevin Costner is Kevin Costner will be there. You cannot get his autograph, but you can get a photo with Kevin Costner. How much do you think a photo with Kevin Costner costs, and did Mark Pope pay this to get his picture taken with Kevin Costner?
Why can't you just get an autograph?
No autograph availability listed, according to Dan Ravel's.
Are you suggesting that Mark Pope may have had to pay for this picture?
I doubt he did. I'm sure he was.
That would be pretty embarrassing. Rival fans would probably make fun of us for that if that were true.
Especially at this price, because
oh boy, that makes me think a little higher. $250?
Ooh,
$500?
Closer. $434 for one photo with Kevin Costner, and I will say he is one of the more premium priced people on this list. It's the photo with Costner.
$500 for a photo with Kevin Costner?
I'll tell you this, TJ. Your boy Manny Ramirez.
Manny being Manny.
His photo costs less. But his autograph is exactly $434.
Just to get his autograph.
Just to get Manny. A premium autograph. So in this too, they have like a standard, which means you sign like a picture or a trading card or baseball. But you can get a premium autograph and charge more if it's a bat or a jersey or equipment. People like Eli Manning. So Eli, he is one of the biggest people in this list because he's a New York Giant. This is in New York. How much do you think a premium autograph on a helmet of Eli Manning would cost you?
350 smackers.
Close. We're at 280, so you went over, you lose the game.
Dun, 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 dun.
But what about a game-used piece of Eli Manning memorabilia? How much would it cost for him to sign one of his old game-used jerseys?
So you're bringing one of his old jerseys and he's signing it? It's not like you're buying the whole piece or something like that?
You're just bringing in something that he used to wear during a game. Or maybe it's a game-used ball, whatever the case may be.
$150?
Opposite direction.
Oh, heavens.
Add a zero.
What?
They are charging $1,085 for Eli Manning to sign something of his that is game-used.
What? Why?
It's crazy, man. It's absolutely nutty. I had...
So are these people that are like going and then reselling this stuff? Is this for like the trade card stores? They go to this and then they take all their stuff and they go back to their stores and then they sell it and make a little profit?
Exactly. That's why I think a lot of the people that come to this, they're there to improve the value of the secondary market for the memorabilia they already have. I'll give you just a couple more before we wrap this up.
Can you imagine just being like, hey guys, I'm going to take pictures, but you're going to need to give me $450 before we take it, okay? Like, what?
Well, the unusual part is, like, some of this...
I'm expecting a little more than just a picture, if we're being honest, for 450 smackers.
Some of them, it's like, they add a nickel or, like, 80 cents to something. I mean, what's the 80 cents for here? Why that? Can we not just make it a good round number here? Two more. Dwayne Wade. How much do you think a standard autograph on a trading card would cost from him? the Hall of Famer?
Good question. It's an autograph, you said?
Autograph, just straight standard autograph.
$200?
$303 for old D-Wade. He's a big one out there.
I haven't really been close.
Dwight Howard. When you think Dwight Howard,
Okay.
what team do you think of first?
The Magic.
Yes.
Right.
And I think Lakers, which just because that was hilarious.
He took the Magic to the finals. Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Is he the worst superstar to take a team to the finals?
The thing is I think Dwight, his mentals prevented him from being better. But that was also at a time when it was easier for a traditional big. Like, I feel like Dwight Howard bridged the gap from old school big to new school big, where he had
Good point.
Like, he had more athleticism than the old school big, but not the skills of the new skill one. He was kind of a bridge gap. That Magic team was a lot of fun, though. Jameer Nelson, Peja. Was Peja on that team? All right.
Are you thinking of Hito Turkoglu?
That's what it is. Hito Turkoglu.
He was
awesome. VD was his
Was it Courtney Lee?
initials. Courtney Lee was on that team. Not Vernon Davis. Vernon Davis was the, gosh, I can't think of Rashard Lewis?
Yeah, I think
Stretch
so.
four? There we go. I was struggling for that one. But Dwight Howard's standard autograph and photo are the same price.
$200.
$81.38. He was one of the lowest prices
nice.
I saw out there. Also, $81.38. 38 cents. What the hell?
It adds up.
Tommy DeVito, I think, was the cheapest guy you could get out there. The backup for the New York Giants, only charging like $60 for an autograph.
Even still.
That's a lot, man.
Yeah.
I'm not paying that for...
Were you ever a big autograph guy? Are you a big autograph guy?
No, I mean, and I have a couple just by happenstance. I got a cool... Like, when some of those guys would do their autograph signings at the bar, I would stumble into them. So I have a cool Lynn Bowden one of his picture during the win over Louisville, which...
No, that's nice.
Yeah, that's cool. I got an old Brandon Knight one, but not a big sports memorabilia collector. And some of it's just because I don't have a place for it. You know, I don't have like a man cave to hang all my stuff up on the wall. So
yeah, I if I have something that's signed, I'm fine with it, obviously. But I'd rather just have like a picture, or like a picture of me at a game, or like me and my wife, or something like that at a game. Then he signed this. I do like I understand it, and I do have some things that are signed. But the people that have these like ginormous collections, is it that cool to you that this celebrity touched this same piece of thing that you have in a glass? But I guess but if you say that, you can say that really about like anything at a museum or anything that you just go to see, right? Is it really worth it? Like, I don't know.
You put the value in it. I think it's the story behind it. The sentimental reasons that matter more to me. I think the only exception, like for me, cool horse racing photography, because it's such a challenge, you know.
And I will say, like,
such a fleeting moment, like those pictures, I think are awesome.
Where I don't think like pictures with celebrities. If Dugan's listening, he's gonna be furious. Like, where I don't think pictures with celebrities, although that's a little different because you may have an experience or an encounter, or this guy was a jerk, or this person was nice. I talked with this person for 25 minutes. This person blew me off, and I had to take the picture in a rush. So I guess pictures maybe are a little bit different. But where I don't really care so much about autographs, give me some memorabilia or something. Like, this was the silks that this jockey wore during this race. Sweet, that's incredible. Like a piece of history, then I'm cool with that. But just like a signed piece of paper doesn't do it for me.
I think the signed basketballs will just look kind of cool to have on display. So if you got a whole team to sign it, you know, it's fine. It's
I always
cool
thought
to have one of those.
Calipari's little painted basketball design in his office was cool. I always liked that. Just remembering games for whatever reason. Maybe it was super memorable, or maybe it was just memorable to you for a personal reason. Keep the ball, have it painted, have the score on it, that fun stuff. All right, a few other NBA superstars that may be in the Dwight Howard category of they're a superstar, but not an elite superstar. One that came to mind for me, and this was on the list, was 2023 Jimmy Butler with the Miami Heat.
Okay, that's a good one.
I think that's a good one. For like Jimmy Butler to be your superstar, but they were a pretty balanced team, too.
I would put him, because the one that came to my mind was when AI took
He's on the list.
the Sixers to the finals, and that team was so bad. It was Eric Snow was his second best scoring option, and then they had a very old Dikembe Mutombo. I mean, that was he did a lot of heavy lifting there. But Iverson did at least have more statistical output than Jimmy Butler did when they took him to the finals. At least in Jimmy Butler's case, like, he had that was just a well-balanced Heat team.
That 2001 Allen Iverson season, his MVP season, though, he was incredible. Like, truly in the conversation was this one of the best seasons a guard maybe has ever had in the NBA. He was that good and led his team to the finals. So I'd put AI over Dwight Howard. I'd probably put Dwight Howard over Jimmy Butler, though. And then another one that actually came to mind for me and is on this list, and I think a little controversial, would be 2007 LeBron James. When you think of LeBron James leading a team to the finals now, that's a no-brainer. Well, now, actually, it's a little late. But, like, LeBron James led a team to the finals with no joy. He's one of the best players, if not the best player in the history of the sport. But in 2007, he was only 22 years old, Roush, and that Cavs team was not that good.
No, that was...
No other player averaged over 15 points on that team.
That was the team that had Anderson Varejao and... Maybe Lou Williams off the bench was his second best player.
Zydrunas Ilgauskas.
Oh, Ilgauskas. I've also seen Instagram reels about what happened to that team because
bad things.
Oh, the most tragic. Because you had the one guy who was like
Delonte West.
Yeah, Delonte West, who had some severe mental illness and is basically homeless on the streets. But there was another guy on that team who was much deeper on the bench who either got killed in a shooting thing or got thrown in jail for a shooting thing shortly thereafter. Just really, LeBron was holding that thing together with duct tape.
So, yeah, he's better. Even 2007, LeBron better than Dwight Howard. All right, we'll get more in NBA discussion tomorrow. A texter on the text line says, for KRC, really went to college for 5 years, got undergrad and MBA, couldn't find a job, and went back to manual labor building roofs. It is. At least I get to listen to you all live now. Rather spend 11 hours in the sun than 24 hours on a park bench. It is what it is. Go Cats.
I'm good luck because building roofs seems very hard. Very hard. But you got an MBA too? Why don't you put that thing to work?
Yeah. I feel like you just keep it nice to have a steady income. Especially if it's with people that you like, and you're doing things that you like. I don't know if you like doing roofing or if you don't like doing roofing. I'm sure it is probably hard. Some people like hard things, but yeah, just be patient.
Yeah,
keep putting yourself out there. It's gonna work out on one of these. MBAs are impressive.
Somebody asked this question on our message board: if you had to have a different job, what would it be? I was almost an attorney, but my easy answer is postman. Like I feel like that would be the kind of work I would like. It is a little monotonous, but I had similar sort of dealings in an office where I would kind of make little games out of it. And I know the weather isn't always great, but just getting outside, walking around, especially having a walking route. I would want one where I do a lot of walking, keeps me active, keeps you from getting fat. So that would be mine. What would?
I think that'd be great. Yeah. I would have no issues with that. You hear Spears talk about his stories, being a mailman, and he retired at like 52. So there's something good about that. I think I've recently talked about this. I would have been a teacher. Maybe someday still will be a teacher potentially. But you know what? It's going to be T-ball coach starting next Tuesday. That's what my future holds. We do need to go to a commercial break. Another texter says, cracks me up how much Goodman brings up our alleged $20 million payroll. UNC came out that UNC supposedly payroll is $14 million. I've got a couple other small little college basketball things we may or may not get to, but we're going to have a Weird Wednesday with Steven Peake, so don't go anywhere. We're looking forward to that on Kentucky Roll Call coming up next on Big X Sports Radio. Okay. A lot of sounds. It's better.
I'm doing better. I'm being less forgetful. I don't know where we're headed.
Keep it locked on Kentuckiana's only locally owned sports talk. 1450 and 96.1 FM. The Big X Sports Radio. WXVW Jeffersonville.
Hey there, New Albany. This is Mayor Jeff Gahan. It's another year here in our River City, and what better time to show your support for our high school's athletic programs. Whether it's basketball or football, track and field or soccer, swimming or tennis, our Bulldogs are giving it their all on the field and court. So let's rally behind them, New Albany. Come out to the games, cheer them on, and let's make some noise. Let's show everyone what it means to be a part of the best city in southern Indiana. Go Bulldogs!
Swing into the action at Park Mammoth Golf Club, a breathtaking and challenging course just off I-65 in Park City, Kentucky. Stay in the know with the Park Mammoth Golf Club app. Get course updates, special offers, GPS, gift cards, and easy tee time bookings. After your round, unwind at the Mammoth Grill where delicious food meets stunning course views in our brand new clubhouse. Visit parkmammothgolfclub.com and experience the best in golf today.
Don't miss all the exciting action of Louisville Bats Baseball, AAA affiliate of the Cincinnati Reds. See the stars of tomorrow at Louisville Slugger Field, one of the best minor league ballparks in the country. Every Tuesday is Taco Tuesday. Wednesdays feature half-price tickets for seniors 55 and older. Get bang for your buck on Thrifty Thursdays. Enjoy $3 beer and $6 margaritas on Fridays. Sunday is Kids Day with a free kids meal and Kids Run the Bases postgame. For tickets, visit batsbaseball.com.
The plumbers, pipe fitters, welders, and HVAC technicians of Local 502's commitment to excellence can be seen in our community every day. The KFC Yum Center, Ford Motor Company, and the Omni Hotel are just a few examples of their professional craftsmanship. Local 502 has been part of our community for over a century and invests over $1 million annually training skilled local workers. Members of Local 502 are your friends, neighbors, and children's coaches. For more information, go to lu502.com.
Local 502, built on excellence, building a better tomorrow.
When design is key to your landscape project, give Walnut Ridge Landscape and Design a call at 812-288-6691. Walnut Ridge has more experience than any landscape company in the area. Remember, Walnut Ridge Landscape and Design. When design is key to your project and you want the most experienced landscaping company in the area. Give Walnut Ridge a call at 812-288-6691. Walnut Ridge Landscape and Design, when design is key.
Hey there, business owners and church leaders. Want to reach more people in your community? Advertise your business or promote your ministry program on our stations? With our wide reach of radio stations, you'll connect with thousands of listeners every single day. Don't miss out on this opportunity. I'm Barbara Carter. Let's make your message heard. Give me a call at 502-345-9017. That's 502-345-9017.
Hey, I love salsaritas. Why? Flame grilled meats, house-made chips, fresh-made salsas for fast takeout, office catering, or your summer celebration. Try salsaritas. Visit them at St. Matthews or in Middletown, or order online for special offers.
We know to contact Indiana 811 at least 2 working days before every dig. Contact Indiana 811 and white line before every project. Learn more at 811.safedigindiana.com.
Sponsored by the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission and aired by this station.
Matt Dennison here, inviting you to join me weekdays at 11 a.m. for the Hoosier Report. Complete coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, interviews with prominent figures in Kentuckiana sports, and discussion of other sports topics important to Southern Indiana. That's the Hoosier Report with Matt Dennison, weekdays at 11 a.m. on the home for the Hoosiers, 1450 WXVW.
Over? You say over? I ain't heard no fat lady.
Welcome back for Hour 2 of Kentucky Roll Call
Nothing is over until we decide it is.
with Walker and Roush.
We're just getting started, bro.
Welcome back. Hour number 2, Kentucky Roll Call. And again, remember, we are streaming on YouTube. I tweeted it out. You can also just go to YouTube and search Big X Sports Radio. You should see it there. Maybe Kentucky Roll Call. I don't know what pops up when you search that. But we are streaming, so if you're not on Twitter and you're like, TJ, you always say you tweeted it, but I'm not a tweeter. Just look for Big X Sports Radio Louisville on YouTube. We're live streaming there, where you can see Steven Peake, who's playing with a little Margaritaville blender. Why don't you show that for the camera there, Steven?
Look at that.
How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. Oh, look at that. Man,
Mike's working too?
Mike's working today.
Yeah,
all right.
I've done it. Wow, that's great. What's new, buddy?
Man, lots of stuff. We've entered the summer months. I'm excited for that. How was your trip? Did you already talk? You already talked about the
Went
trip.
to Gatlinburg. It was a good time. Yeah.
Came back with a blender from That's what I was getting at.
Yep. It was fun. I was thankful that the weather was cool for the most part. We had a lot of fun, and it went by too quickly. Nothing but good things to say. Gatlinburg is interesting. That was my first time actually doing Gatlinburg. I've done Pigeon Forge and stuff like that. Gatlinburg was interesting. I see the appeal for sure. Had a blast, though, and wish this time a week ago we were getting ready to leave, so I wish I could go back in time, Steven.
Well,
Thanks for asking.
I am excited this week. The Murray State Racers are 2 wins away from the College World Series.
Murray State Racers. That is incredible. Your thoughts on them going down to Oxford and coming out winners in dramatic fashion, no less.
It's incredible. If you go and look at their stadium right now, like the stadium as exists in 2025, compare it to Ole Miss, it's not quite like how they compared St. Peter's to Rupp Arena, but Murray State baseball has come a long way. When I was at school there, I actually did play-by-play for their games, and that's where that program was at. They had students doing the play-by-play.
Wow. Imagine where it would be if Steven Peake was still the voice of the Racers.
Man, that would be a lot of fun.
2 wins away from Omaha, Steven Peake. That'd be sweet.
A return trip.
Is it still a student doing it? That'd be a thrill.
You know, I don't know. Because they used to broadcast the games for free on like the OVC digital network, but now they're on ESPN Plus, so that changes some things. But when I was there, I mean, the facilities were so bad. I had friends who were like, they could have played at Murray State, and they said, I'd rather go to IUS. So, like, that's when, and this is before IUS was even, what were they, Division II, I guess?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, like, it's come a long way, and to that game the other night, just holding on to every pitch. Again, we said this a couple weeks ago, single elimination baseball, which it was on Monday. The winner advanced, loser went home. That's the best. It's the Game 7 of baseball is better than Game 7 of any other sport. You hang on to every pitch. I literally couldn't watch the last 3 outs. It was just too much, and I almost assumed.
So what'd you do?
I refreshed Twitter, and I had the live stats. I can't even watch when they're not up to bat because with college baseball, it just feels like runs are never at a premium. They could go off for 8, 9 runs in an inning, either team. Once you're deep into the bullpen in a regional championship like that. But it was really awesome. I did go back and watch the final 3 outs to see what it looked like. And
because it was a wild ride, those final 3 outs. You went deep into the
last 5 outs. I didn't think they were going to happen. I thought they might get stuck in the 8th inning, and they managed to get out of it. And all those Ole Miss fans who left early, and then I wonder if some of them were trying to get back in the park. When that big 7th inning happened, and then they get the 3-run home run in the 8th, and you see a 12-3 lead, all of a sudden 12-11, and it's like, don't do this. Don't be on the precipice of something so special and then blow it like this. And, you guys, I came in here and I talked about that Murray State-Kentucky connection, and Kentucky lost 13-12. If Ole Miss had scored 2 runs in the bottom of the 9th, Murray State would have gotten eliminated in their regional championship 13-12 after blowing a 12-3, 12-7 lead, just like Kentucky did.
And it's crazy to me. Murray State had to beat Ole Miss twice to do it.
Yeah,
and they lost one game, got pummeled one game.
19-8.
It didn't matter. Yeah, they gave up 36 runs to Ole Miss and came away with the series win.
That's pretty wild.
That's incredible.
It's a weird sport. You can't really apply your. I mean, in some ways you can't apply your Major League Baseball knowledge to it, but it feels like a very different sport. You're not out of the game down 5, 6, 7 runs.
Mm-hmm.
Also, do these games need to be 9 innings? Because clearly there's a problem with
time.
Dude,
yeah.
I dedicated like 20 hours of baseball in 2 days. It's just too much.
So the Rockies won again yesterday. Maybe we'll have a Wednesday where we talk about the Rockies. They won 1-0. Or no, I don't know what they're winning right now, 1-0. Excuse me, but they won yesterday, which made it 2 straight for Colorado. Which watch out,
one more.
Watch out for these guys. Their game yesterday was 2 hours and 25 minutes, 2 hours and 30 minutes.
Incredible.
That is. There's college basketball games that will go longer than that,
especially if Buzz Williams is coaching.
No doubt. No, at that point it's a guarantee. That's college baseball's biggest issue. I love it, but it's impossible to go to the games because it's just going to be super long unless you have like 5 hours between driving there, driving home, and then the actual game.
Oh, yeah.
You usually got to pick whether you want to go to the beginning of the game and then watch the end at home or get there late so you're there for the finish. They take forever.
Because if you are, well, let's say I was a Louisville fan, 11 a.m. start time on Saturday, perfect. Get out of there 3 o'clock, going over to Churchill Downs right down the street, bet some races, watch the Belmont there. It could be a great day. They might not get out of there by the time the Belmont goes off at 7. Like, that's just the silliness of the sport that does stink. And they're even operating under a pitch clock. Which that's the part that I don't...
What is it that's taking so much time? Is it just how many pitching changes they have?
Yeah, the pitchers just stink.
And that's the thing, too. The pitchers aren't very good, so guys, they're batting around.
You'll get some low-scoring baseball games. You'll get quick baseball games. They're almost always low-scoring. It's just when the pitchers are able to go 6 or 7 innings, it's going to be a much quicker game than the alternative, which is normally what these are. And then they turn into like bullpen games. So then you're doing it intentionally to only pitch a guy 2 innings or an inning. So then there's just these breaks. Let's go talk to him. Does he still have the stuff? All right, he does, but we'll go back in a couple pitches and go back out there again. There's just so many breaks in the game.
And that's okay. So when you have your Friday night starters, I bet you those Friday night games aren't too long. But do they need to be 9 innings? And I really think that for one, once you're in these tournaments and you're going deep into your bullpen just to hold on to leads through 9 innings, that's putting stress on your roster there, and that's also causing games to be longer because you just keep switching pitchers out and doing all. Can we just make these 7-inning games? Like, what's wrong with doing that?
Well, then you wouldn't have your big comebacks.
Well, you could just have them in the 7th inning. Just come back. I know what you're saying because by the time it's like you get to the 8th and 9th innings where the pitching isn't as good, so that's where you get your comebacks. But
I think some people would be offended to say like, "Hey, you're saying we're just high school. We need to do the high school."
But they're using aluminum bats. Make them use wooden bats then.
But that's the thing is that think how many college pitchers there are across the sport. Like, yes, you are going deep into high school rosters in a lot of cases.
Mm-hmm.
And there are some probably fringe people who will never pick up a baseball after their college days are over. And you have some that want to do the minor league stuff. But you genuinely don't have an amazing product across the board. I think, unfortunately, 7 or 8 innings, I wouldn't have a major issue with it. But it's just never in a million years going to happen because the baseball purists would have a super major issue with it.
Well, then why aren't they upset about them using aluminum bats?
You just have to swallow it, I think, unfortunately.
Because like the first couple days of the NCAA tournament should be like heavy watching, but it's just kind of not.
Most of the games aren't even on TV.
Well, that's also a problem,
which is crazy.
But
because you can't block out 6 hours on ESPN.
Exactly. And that's it. So like you can do the around the or whatever it is. What's the thing they were doing?
Whip around.
The whip around. Yeah, just you can do that. But I think with the College World Series, I think you get better viewership if you can shrink the game just a little bit. And I don't know if that's making it 6 innings, but you got to figure out a way to not make these games 4.5 hours long. It's just too much of your time. And Kentucky had 2 games on. What was that? Is it Sunday?
Yeah, they played basically 9 hours of the day.
That's too much.
Yeah, it was a lot. I'm with you on baseball being long. They're never going to shorten the innings, so unless the pitching just gets better, it's just the reality of it, which I'm all right with when I'm watching TV. Like, I can be doing chores, I can be out in the garden or mowing the lawn and have the headphones in, and I'm cool with that. It almost feels like that's Americana. That's baseball. You're doing other stuff while you're paying attention to it. And I agree with you, Steven, that I like the aspect of baseball, college baseball, where anything can happen. An error on any play. A pitcher could just completely collapse and give up 6 runs in an inning, and just like that, the game is turned up on its head. That's more watchable for me than MLB, which is if there's a fly ball, it's going to be caught. If there's a ground ball, the play is going to be made. They're just machines at that point because they're the best of the best of it. I like the fact that somebody could goof on just any play, and that's why I like college baseball better than professional baseball. But the games are just long, and you just got to deal with it. And I think that where that really only hurts you is going to the ballparks, because that could be a pain in the butt. But if you're watching it on TV, all right, then get some chores done while you're watching, or grill while you're watching, get some other stuff accomplished. In your opinion, would Murray State be the biggest underdog if they make it to Omaha?
They probably will be, right? I mean,
actually, no, because I've got it pulled up.
Okay.
Wow.
Fresno State was a 4 seed, and they won the College World Series in 2008. So they were a 4 seed in their regional and went on to upset Long Beach State in that regional, and then Arizona State, I think, in a super, and then they went on to beat Georgia in the College World Series with a 33-27 regular season record coming out of the WAC.
Oh, wow.
You'll probably never see anything like that again. Now, Coastal Carolina won it in 2016, but they were a 2 seed in the regional. I think they had 50 wins in the regular season.
That's when I learned about what a Chanticleer was.
Yes. Which, by the way, their basketball court is terrible. Swing and a miss. I thought we were done with the little hokey courts, but I guess we're not.
We know Coastal Carolina. They're all about the bits.
In Stony Brook in 2012 as a 4 seed, they went to the College World Series, but they did not win. They went 0-2 once they got there, but that's a pretty good story. Stony Brook as a 4 seed, and then Kent State in 2012. UK fans may be familiar with Kent State in 2012. In the old Gary Regional, up in Gary, the late nights in Gary, Kent State ended up having a successful run in 2012. Could have been the Batcats.
Yeah, should have been the Batcats. AJ Reed and co.
But Murray State will look to add to that list of underdogs. Are you giving them any chance in Durham?
Yeah, of course. Of course. Why not? I mean, they
can put up runs, right?
Got through Ole Miss and Georgia Tech. They didn't have an easy game, that entire region. Look, they might be legit. This may not be, like you asked if they're the biggest underdog. I mean, they've had a great year. With 40-something and 14, something like that. So, like, you get to baseball, like you said, it's just a weird game. And anybody can win. Fresno State can go 33-27 and win the whole thing. Then why couldn't Murray State go and take 2 of 3 against the Duke Blue Devils?
I love it. I'll be rooting on the Racers. I hate Duke, so all this comes naturally to me. I like Steven Peake, so that makes it even easier. And everybody, it has piqued my interest. This isn't even the segment, folks.
Wrote a song about it? Like to hear it? Here you go. Freedom Mind.
Yes. Well, since it is the summer months, and if you're going to go out and watch 8 hours of baseball for a single game, make sure you are wearing sunscreen. I cannot stress this enough. And I know, like, it's not just because of, you might get skin cancer. That's a good reason. But you know how, like, if you're in your, you don't really think about, well, I'll deal with the skin cancer later. But if you have to deal with something right away and not just a sunburn, because I'm going to tell you guys about something that I've now experienced twice, and
so you didn't learn your lesson, is what you
No, I didn't. And mainly because, either way, it was my fault. I made a mistake. But I didn't know what it was when I first got it.
And this is a PSA for Scooter Dingus, too.
Yeah.
Scoot's anti-sunscreen guy.
Is he?
Yeah.
Well, that's
he likes to just burn. Very dumb.
Awful decisions there.
And you're going to tell us why.